Welcome to the deep dive. We are absolutely thrilled to have you joining us today.
So glad you're here.
Yeah, and we know exactly who you are. You're the kind of person who is just insanely curious. You're someone who wants the maximum amount of insight, but without drowning in all that information overload.
Right, because who has the time?
Exactly. You want the dots connected for you, and you want it done in a way that actually respects your time.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we're here to do today. We have a really fascinating mission ahead of us.
We really do.
So we are taking a comprehensive look at this enormous stack of source material. It details the massive, genre-spanning bibliography and the incredibly eclectic background of author Bradley W. Deacon.
Yeah, eclectic is definitely the right word for it.
Right. Our goal today is to unpack the mind of a true polymath. I mean, we are talking about someone who writes these gritty, high-stakes cyber thrillers.
Very gritty.
But then he also writes gentle children's books.
Right.
He writes no-nonsense self-help guides, but also publishes these deeply mindful photography collections.
It's quite the spectrum of work.
It really is.
Looking at these sources, you rarely see a single creator cross so many distinct boundaries with such specific targeted expertise.
Yeah.
Usually an author finds a niche and they just stay firmly planted there for their entire career.
They stay in their lane.
Exactly. But not here.
No, the contrast is genuinely wild. And the hook that immediately grabbed me when I looked at all these sources is, how does a former cybercrime investigator,
Right.
a guy who literally hunted down Australia's first computer hacker, how does that guy end up writing a children's book about a robot dog named Rusty?
It's a massive pivot.
It is. It's a huge pivot. And to understand it, we really need to go back to where it all started. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Bradley W. Deacon's background is deeply rooted in law enforcement and the birth of modern digital crime. According to the sources, he started with the Australian Federal Police, the AFP, back in 1991.
Wow, 91.
Yeah, 1991. This was an era when they were literally transitioning from typewriters to computers.
That is a massive technological shift to be on the front lines of.
Huge.
Yeah.
And he was identified early on by his superintendent as an early adopter. He really leaned into this technological revolution. He eventually held a Yale Cyber Leadership Fellowship and got a master's in national security.
That's some serious pedigree.
It really is. He was there on the ground floor as a cybercrime analyst and lawyer.
Yeah.
And he took all of that real-world experience and poured it into a trilogy of books.
Right. The digital shadow files.
Exactly, the Digital Shadow Files.
And that operational experience is crucial here. When someone with a background in federal cybercrime writes a thriller,
You pay attention.
you have to. You have to pay attention because they aren't just writing from a place of pure imagination.
Right.
They are extrapolating from the real investigative tradecraft that they've utilized every single day.
So let's look at the actual stories to see how that plays out. The series starts with a prequel called Tower 51. It's set in a luxury residential high-rise in Sydney, and it's billed as the most connected building on the planet.
Yeah, truly.
Right. Everything from the elevators to the appliances is fully integrated. Now, the main character, Ava Green, is hired to secure it.
But there's a catch.
There is a big catch. Ava lives with dissociative identity disorder, and under intense stress, an alter emerges who exploits those very systems she's supposed to secure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this leads to what the book calls the world's first IoT-enabled homicide.
Which is terrifying.
Completely.
Yeah.
Carried out without physical weapons or traditional evidence. Now, I know you are tech-savvy, and our listeners are tech-savvy, but can you just break down the mechanics of what an IoT-driven homicide actually implies in this context?
Absolutely. So IoT stands for the Internet of Things.
Okay.
It refers to the billions of physical devices around the world that are currently connected to the internet, collecting and sharing data.
Like smart home stuff.
Exactly. We are talking about your smart fridge, your internet-connected thermostat, the automated locks on your doors, or in the case of Tower 51, the digital operating system of a commercial elevator.
Right.
An IoT-driven homicide means a murder carried out entirely by hacking these everyday household systems rather than using a physical weapon.
That is wild.
I mean, you don't need a gun if you can remotely manipulate the structural safety protocols of a smart building.
That is honestly a terrifying concept, mostly because it feels entirely plausible right now.
Oh, it is.
And that leads directly into the next book, Digital Alcatraz, Ava's Escape. Ava is eventually locked in an Australian desert prison.
But not a normal prison.
No, there are no traditional bars or keys here. It's this next-generation facility that relies entirely on digital containment. We're talking biometric compliance, AI surveillance, and predictive behavior modeling.
It's an invisible cage.
Exactly. And finally, the trilogy wraps up with cyber cold case files, where the federal agent who originally hunted her down teams up with her to solve crimes that hide behind trusted technology.
What's fascinating here is that these books aren't futuristic sci-fi.
No.
No, as the source material explicitly notes, these are stories about right now.
Right.
If we look at the core themes, surveillance capitalism, for instance, that's the business model where your personal data is constantly harvested by the smart devices in your home, and it's often used to manipulate your behavior or just sell you things.
Right. We see that every day.
But Deacon takes it a step further. The systems he describes in these books operate on a principle that is alarmingly common in our current reality. They are systems stretched so thin that they can no longer tell a catastrophic failure from normal operations.
Oh, that is a profound insight. It's like when your smart home security camera glitches out.
Yes.
And you just shrug it off because you're so used to the technology being slightly imperfect.
Precisely. The danger Deacon highlights isn't the classic Hollywood trope of machines waking up and becoming evil.
Terminator style, yeah.
Yeah, right. The real danger is that we just blindly trust them. We allow these highly complex, opaque systems to quietly lie to themselves just to preserve the illusion of control.
Wow.
He is showing you the very fragile line between convenience and vulnerability in your everyday connected life.
The fragility of those digital systems is chilling.
Yeah.
But, it also reflects a very real fragility in the human experience.
Yes, it does.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Confronting that unimaginable darkness online every single day took a severe personal toll on him.
It would have to.
The sources reveal that during his career as a cybercrime analyst, Deacon was actually diagnosed with severe PTSD.
I think we need to just pause and acknowledge the weight of that.
Yeah.
The general public often imagines cybercrime investigation as, just a guy staring at lines of green code on a black screen.
Like in The Matrix.
Right, exactly. But the reality of hunting the worst the internet has to offer, child exploitation, human trafficking, brutal dark web operations, it is deeply, deeply traumatizing.
I can't even imagine.
Burnout and PTSD are incredibly common in that specific sector of law enforcement because you are constantly swimming in the absolute darkest waters of humanity.
He certainly didn't walk away unscathed. But what he chose to do with that trauma is remarkable.
It really is.
He pivoted entirely. He started using photography and mindfulness as a coping mechanism. He created a series called Through the Lens Within the Mind.
I love that title.
Right. The standout project here is a book called Noir Mornings, 365 Dawns in Vietnam.
Okay.
He found that these small, consistent actions, taking morning walks and capturing the beauty of daybreak from Melbourne to Sydney to Vietnam, it helped him process his experiences.
Just getting outside and being present.
Exactly. The current volume contains over 170 photographs, but he actually has a mission to release the full 365-day edition in January 2026.
The psychological value of that kind of routine is immense.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. When your nervous system is trapped in a constant state of hypervigilance from trauma.
From all those years on the dark web.
Exactly. Finding a predictable, quiet anchor, like the sun rising every single morning, can be incredibly grounding.
And there's a twist to this project that I found absolutely brilliant.
What's that?
Every single photograph in Noir Mornings is paired with a mindfulness quote.
Okay.
But those quotes weren't just written by Deacon sitting alone in a room. They were co-crafted by Echo, which is his AI assistant.
Wait, really?
Yeah. He used a blend of human input and artificial intelligence to create what the book calls a pocket-sized mindfulness coach.
Which is such a profound choice when you think about his background.
Right.
Deacon didn't run away from technology after his cyber trauma. He didn't move to a cabin in the woods and throw his smartphone in a lake.
Which would be tempting.
Highly tempting. But instead, he repurposed the technology. He took artificial intelligence, the very kind of complex, opaque system he warns about in his thrillers,
Yeah.
and he utilized it as a tool for healing in an era where many of us feel totally overwhelmed by wellness culture.
Where your yoga mats just gather dust.
Right, and self-help books double as coasters. He is advocating for low-effort, high-impact mental well-being routines.
I love that phrase. Low effort, high impact.
It's brilliant. He is showing you that you don't need a massive life overhaul to find peace.
No.
Sometimes, just pausing for a single page of daybreak photography and a quiet moment of reflection generated with an AI partner is enough to reset your morning.
And that grounded, practical approach to life bleeds perfectly into his next major endeavor. We're moving from mindful mornings into what he literally calls the real-life no bullshit series.
Which is a fantastic name.
It is exactly what it sounds like. This is a self-help library explicitly designed for people who are totally exhausted by toxic positivity.
Ooh, the motivational fluff.
Exactly. Motivational fluff, guru nonsense. It's for capable people whose confidence wobbles and who occasionally just let anxiety take the steering wheel.
Which is all of us, frankly.
It really is all of us. Let's look at the imposter syndrome collection within this series. Specifically, there's a book called Overcoming Imposter Syndrome and another one called Mike Fright to Spotlight. In this collection, he introduces something called the Fig Jam mindset.
Jam.
Yes, Fig Jam, it's an acronym. It stands for F per CK, I'm good, just ask me.
That is amazing.
Right. F per CZK, I'm good, just ask me.
The humor there is a very deliberate delivery mechanism.
How so?
Well, he is actively dismantling the pedestal that self-help usually sits on. Imposter syndrome often thrives in overly serious, high-pressure environments.
Absolutely. The boardroom, the stage.
Exactly. By introducing a slightly profane, highly confident acronym like Fig Jam, he's giving you a mental circuit breaker.
A circuit breaker. I like that.
When you are sitting in a meeting feeling like a total fraud, quietly saying Fig Jam to yourself deflates the anxiety with humor.
It breaks the tension in your own head.
Yes. It reminds you of your own competence without requiring you to recite some overly earnest daily affirmation in the mirror.
I love that concept of a mental circuit breaker. And he applies this same practical, humorous lens to career and reinvention, too.
He does.
Instead of listing his whole catalog, let's just look at a few specific examples. First, he wrote Retire Like a Rockstar.
Great title.
Which is all about hustling your way to margaritas and naps.
Sign me up.
Right. Then he wrote A Career in Cyber, arguing that you can actually enter the cybersecurity field without a computer science degree. And there's also hashtag FN Moments 2023, which has over 150 relatable moments just validating the daily frustrations of adulthood.
If we look at the insights within those specific books, you see a really strong theme of practical empowerment.
Yeah.
Hustling your way to margaritas isn't about blind, exhausting grind culture.
It's not the wake up at 3 a.m. hustle.
No, not at all. It's about working smarter, setting strict boundaries, and utilizing digital nomadism to design a life that actually serves you.
Right.
And his advice on entering cybersecurity without a computer science degree is deeply personal.
Because of his own background.
Exactly. He transitioned from typewriters to computers in the early 90s. He knows firsthand that the tech industry needs people who understand human behavior, law, and systems thinking.
Not just people who can write code.
Precisely.
That brings us perfectly to how he views modern content creation. Because he also wrote Code Me a Story, which is a writer's guide to AI prompt engineering.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, and Mastering Podcasting, which teaches you how to use ChatGPT as your ultimate intern to streamline production and understand listener preferences. He is actively teaching people how to collaborate with AI.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Deacon's pragmatic approach is actively demystifying modern career anxiety for you.
Which is huge right now.
It is. Right now, there's a massive cultural panic about AI taking jobs and destroying creativity.
Yeah, everyone is worried about it.
But by framing AI not as a job-stealing threat, but as a co-writer or a digital intern, he is empowering you to take control of your digital footprint.
He's flipping the script.
He really is. He is taking the intimidation factor out of the technology that is currently reshaping our world. He's showing you how to steer the ship, rather than just letting the waves crash over you.
Speaking of taking control of your creativity, his next pivot is delightfully unexpected.
Oh, the Outback books.
Yes. From cybercrime thrillers and AI prompt engineering, we move to the Australian outback and quiet fishing villages.
Such a transition.
Deacon created a children's literature series called A Little Outback Book.
Okay.
He based this loosely on the classic old-fashioned Little Golden books, but he modernized it for Outback Australia. The stories are incredibly gentle. We have Rusty the almost real dog, where a robot dog helps two kids navigate moving to a new, dusty outback town.
Robot dog.
A robot dog.
Yeah.
And the core lesson is that feeling loved comes from being yourself, not just having an unusual pet.
That's sweet.
It is. Then there's Jack and the Moon Above the Outback, which is about a boy who attends the School of the Air, watches his dad fly with the Royal Flying Doctor Service, and dreams of space exploration.
The format choice here is fascinating, especially when you consider his technical background.
How so?
Well, the sources note that he specifically designed these soft watercolor illustrations to pop on the new Kindle Color devices.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he anticipated that Kindle Color would be a game changer and he wanted to beat the curve.
That's that early adopter mindset again.
Exactly. But it is a striking juxtaposition. The man who wrote about the world's first IoT homicide in a hyper-connected skyscraper is using cutting-edge display technology to tell stories about the quiet magic of a wide-open sky and a robot dog rolling over for pats.
He takes that search for quiet magic into his travel writing, too.
Oh, right.
He has a book called $60 and a Toothbrush. It's written under the persona of Daktari Knight.
Daktari Knight.
Yeah, and it's about traveling from South to North Vietnam with no grand plan and just a willingness to be wrong.
That takes guts.
It does. He writes about how eating street food teaches you trust and how you have to completely surrender to the chaos of overnight trains.
Surrendering to the chaos.
Exactly. And then there's Chiang Mai Bay, which is a bilingual love letter to a hidden Vietnamese village.
A bilingual love letter.
Yeah. He describes these family-run seafood restaurants with cheap lobster, karaoke nights where strangers become family, and cows literally wandering the beach at sunset.
There is a very strong thematic thread running through this transition.
What do you think?
Think about the massive contrast between an AI-controlled desert prison from his thrillers and a beach where cows wander freely among karaoke singers.
It's night and day.
It really is. Whether he is illustrating the vast, uncrowded Australian skies or documenting the slow, rhythmic life of a Vietnamese fishing village, Deacon is teaching you the profound value of slowing down.
Yeah.
He is showing you that in an over-connected, highly surveilled world, you have to intentionally seek out spaces where you can look around, surrender the need for absolute control, and find genuine community.
So what does this all mean? How does one person produce all this? We've talked about his time as a cyber investigator, the intense trauma he endured, his healing through photography, his humorous self-help guides, the children's books, the travel writing.
It's a lot.
The sheer volume and variety of his output is staggering. Where does the foundation for all this come from?
The foundation is rooted in a relentless, almost visionary pursuit of understanding how systems work and how information is delivered.
Okay.
While he has a massive academic background in law and criminology, the piece of the puzzle that truly highlights his foresight is a post-grad digital education certificate he earned back in 2012 from Penn State.
2012. That is years before online learning and working from home became the global standard for everyone.
Precisely. He saw the digital education revolution coming long before the infrastructure was mainstream.
He really was ahead of the curve.
The sources highlight that he actually converted a real-life Australian community college legal practice course into a 12-unit online delivery entirely by himself long before it was the norm.
Wow.
He doesn't just write about the future in his fiction, he actively builds the infrastructure for it in reality.
Yeah.
He understands how systems scale and how people learn. That is how he is able to seamlessly transition from lecturing you on cybersecurity to guiding you through prompt engineering to helping you navigate imposter syndrome. He knows how to package knowledge so that it lands perfectly for the intended audience.
It really is a masterclass in adapting to the digital world without losing your humanity.
Absolutely.
Let's just briefly recap the journey we've taken today. We started with the chilling reality of his digital shadow files.
The IoT homicides.
Right. IoT homicides and inescapable digital prisons based on his real-life cybercrime hunting days. We moved through the heavy toll that took, leading to the healing power of his dawn photography in Vietnam and his mindful collaboration with an AI named Echo.
Such a beautiful project.
It is. We laughed through his no-bullshit self-help series, embracing the Fig Jam mindset and learning to treat ChatGPT as an intern. And finally, we found peace in the quiet magic of the Australian outback, with Rusty the robot dog and the slow-paced, beautiful chaos of Chiang Mai Bay. Deacon's life and work really offer a blueprint for staying grounded when the world feels like it's spinning too fast online.
It certainly does. But evaluating his entire catalog side by side like this raises an important question, and it's one I really want to leave you to mull over.
Okay, what is it?
Deacon warns us explicitly in Tower 51 and Digital Alcatraz about the terrifying consequences of building smart systems that no one fully understands.
Right.
He shows us the dark side of a world where surveillance capitalism goes unchecked. Yet, at the exact same time, he actively champions artificial intelligence, using Echo for mindfulness quotes and ChatGPT for creative writing and content production.
He embraces it.
He treats the machine as a collaborative partner. So what happens to our own identities and our own stories when the AI co-writers we increasingly rely on for self-help, for creativity, and for daily routines become just as advanced, just as complex, and potentially just as unchecked as the surveillance systems we fear?
That is heavy.
Where exactly is the line between using the machine to heal and letting the machine take the wheel?
Wow. That is a phenomenal question to end on.
Yeah.
A huge thank you to you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Bradley W. Deacon. We hope this exploration gave you some valuable insights and maybe a few aha moments to carry with you into your own day.
Thanks for listening.
Keep questioning the systems around you, stay curious, and keep exploring. We'll catch you next time.